Earlier this year, tens of thousands of school children who had survived yet another mass shooting in a high school in America rose up and found their voice. They held rallies, they gave speeches, they travelled to Capitol Hill and other places to speak with politicians, and they used social media across the world to arrange protests and other actions to support their cause. They have influenced voting patterns in America and have started a movement that I predict will continue to grow and to make a difference to people's lives. Last week, in a couple of Australian cities, many thousands of school students found their voice. They went on strike from school and marched in the street to protest the lack of action from government on climate change. Drawing on the unique Australian sense of humour and irreverence for those in power, they made clever, homemade and sometimes quite rude signs and marched in the streets holding them. They used traditional and social media to spread their message, and they have awakened hope and a fighting spirit in many people in this country who are fed up with a government hostile to science and data and in denial about climate change. Finding your voice is an important quest. It never ends because you need to find your voice about different matters at different times throughout your life. And you don't have to march in the street to have a voice. I remember learning about bystander intervention in my first year of university when I was 18 and vowing to myself never to be a bystander if I saw injustice. I've tried to live by that value since then, and that was over 30 years ago. Well over 30 years ago, actually. I had another number there and I thought that sounds too high, I'll cross that out. Why is that so funny? No. I found my voice by becoming a teacher and an equity researcher and a writer and a speaker and a mother, all at different times in my life. These roles and others each gave me a voice in a different way. There are many ways to find and have a voice. I think the important thing to understand about yourself is what is your message? To what do you want to give voice? What is it you are trying to say? What do you believe in? What are your values? And don't think you have to write or necessarily say something to have a voice. Your everyday choices and behaviour give voice to what you value. Are you kind? Are you empathic? Are you thoughtful? To what extent you show altruism is not, gives voice to what you care about. You can say you care about something, or you can demonstrate you care about something. And your actions will live on long after the sound waves have disappeared. Your voice can be heard or felt by what you choose to support and enable, and what you choose to ignore. Those school kids in America and Australia have worked out what they value. Apart from human life and the planet, they value politicians who act in the best interests of the people they are supposed to represent. Once the school kids knew that, they only needed to figure out how to articulate what it was they valued. I think it's worth putting time and effort into thinking about your values. You're then more likely to find the forms of voices that you need to articulate those values. I'm sure that each of you have found and will again find the voice you need when you're sure about what it is you want to say or have heard or felt. Finding your voice is not a one-off event. Thank you for listening to my voice.